Do 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 do. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I've always wanted to do that. As John Oliver does. Welcome to another edition of the Side Quest. I sure hope you can hear me. Checking my audio levels. That looks good. Checking the camera. That looks good. Checking the dashing young man on the camera. That looks great. Welcome to this week's episode of The Side Quest. How y'all doing? Doing good? I'm Dolly Domofsky, and I am going to have a great time. I got an itchy ear. There you go. No longer an itchy ear. It's all set. Hope you're all having a good, wonderful, good Thursday evening. We're gonna have a quicker show because it's just me. So you know what? We're gonna get stuff done. So sometimes the best way to get things done is to kick everybody else off the show and just handle it yourself. That's what I'm saying. Anywho, again, I'm Dolly Domofsky joining you live from Casa de Quest of the Side. I don't know. I just made that up, of course. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of the fun news that's going on right now in the gaming world. A couple of games that I have been reviewing. Maybe joined by a couple folks later. And we'll be going from there. I do have to mention, though, I have an all-time new favorite dumb injury that's happened to me. And that is, you ever rip your face with a tortilla chip? Because that has happened to me. Is it a paper cut if you get cut by a tortilla chip? I don't know. You know when you eat the tortilla chips and I have them too close to the sides of my mouth? Well, I ripped. You can kind of see it right there. I cut my mouth with a really sharp tortilla chip and it was just gushing blood coming on down like that. Ugh. Not fun. But what are you going to do? It's the goodness of a good corn tortilla chip. Anywho, we're not going to talk about that anymore because it's gross. We are going to have, I do have a drinkage today. I have a Jello shot, and I'll probably get this Jello shot. I have a couple of them leftovers from Halloween. Maybe if Taylor joins us. And then I also have, and this is good, I have a Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey. And we're not sponsored by any alcoholic beverage companies or anything, but I have, this is the Contraband Jack Daniels. I don't know where we got it from. I don't know if I got it from a plane on, the plane ride back, maybe, possibly. Just ended up in my luggage when I got off the plane. Or could have been handed to us by a neighbor. I don't know. No idea. But I might be sipping on this guy. Haven't had alcohol in a few days. That makes me sound like a total alcoholic. Haven't had alcohol in a while, I should say. A few hours. But yeah, maybe I'll tap into that. And I got some good old water here. But I want to get into the news of the week. And I think the discourse that's been happening this week, discourse of the week. The nominees of the Game Awards have been announced. And of course, as everybody knows, the Game Awards get your personal picks absolutely right every single time, don't they? And they're perfect. No one ever gets them wrong, or the Game Awards never gets them wrong. It's definitely the games that you think should be there are the ones that they select. Just kidding, of course not. There's a lot of different categories. Obviously, here we got game of the year. You got best performance. You got stuff like best art direction. Get some interesting ones. Best community support. And why is it interesting? Because Destiny 2 is on best community support. After cutting all those people, you have there are a lot of interesting categories. Best performance. That's where they say we got to get an actor. Someone get someone famous, someone non-gaming related, if possible, on our show. And so they have Idris Elba. I can guarantee you is not going to show up at the Game Awards. but I could see all these other fine people doing it. I think it should go to Ben Starr, only because I met him at the Summer Game Fest, and he's a really cool dude. Haven't met anybody else. Maybe Idris Elba. I met him in a nightmare as he was hunting me for sport, potentially. I don't know. Oh gosh, I clicked the button. What bad UX. I think some of there are some interesting ones. The stuff that they're really still trying to push the esports stuff, and it's like, I get it. But people aren't really watching the Game Awards for esports. Tell me if I'm wrong, but those are the awards that they just kind of read. There's the big list of awards that Jeff Keighley will come back from an ad read and like say, hey, oh, congratulations to the winners of best esports athlete, best esports game, and best esports event. All the stuff that gets read off to the side. I think it's more of an acknowledgement that they want those esports viewers. There are bigger esports award shows that happen than the Game Award trying to capitalize on that. But what do you do? I think some of the interesting ones, obviously, innovation in accessibility is something that me as a designer, I love to see this as a category because innovation in accessibility isn't just for people that are differently abled. It's a category that I think they say, right, technology and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. And it really comes down to UX, user experience. And so when you get to innovation and accessibility, how great is that user experience? I think it's pretty good. Hey, look at that. It is Taylor Bliss. What's up, Taylor? Joining us. Going over some of the Game Awards, which is, as I mentioned earlier in this episode a couple minutes ago, they are always 100% right with their nominees. Yeah, and you're muted or whatever. I don't know if you got to unplug or plug in or
start. I'll do whatever I want. First of all,
somebody who talks about the Game Awards, but yeah, no, I was they always get everything exactly right. I was mentioning I really like this category, innovation and accessibility, because as a design
it's
guy,
actually probably the only good category.
Probably the only good category.
Yeah,
it really is, because it deals more with the experience of the user and the interfaces and how they work with the game and how the game actually helps more people play and interact with it. And for those, I think that's really kind of awesome. Yeah, there's some novel things in Forza, some interesting stuff in Diablo 4. But then you look at stuff like Street Fighter, which people don't really consider Street Fighter to be an accessible game, because fighting games are like, yeah, you just mash buttons, but they have like whole new systems of getting, I don't want to say casual players, but getting a dolly level player to enjoy a game. Like, I can play Street Fighter 6 now with my mom, who is who's 70 years old and could play a game. Meanwhile, pushing a bunch of different buttons doesn't always work. So I think to me, this is a really cool category for that standpoint.
And there's something to be said about the call to precedent that something like that can do, which is the fact that, like, you look at the precedent of what fighting games have been, and did Street Fighter 6 make fighting games more accessible? I would probably argue that it kind of did by comparison. Now, did other games probably also do something similar? Yeah, I mean, you could probably make that case. I don't know if they were necessarily to the degree. I'm sure somebody who has played one of those games would probably be like, yes, actually it was, and that's fine. But the reality is that the Game Awards is also a capitalist endeavor. So
it really is, and there is a panel of judges that are influencers. There are journalists. There are other types of media.
Where's the Mr. Beast category?
Yeah, Mr. Beast. He's best content creator. But that's who selects these. It's not like a, that's what the DICE Awards and the Academy Interactive Arts and Sciences Awards are about. There, that's the selected by a jury of your peers, right?
Right.
That's what those are.
This is not a jury of your peers.
This is not. This is just we have a bunch of
they've got a
people
most
in the room.
hyped, they've got a most hyped category. Let's be
Yeah.
real.
Wait, is there a game next level? Is there most hyped game? Oh,
Most anticipated.
Game. There it is. It was most hyped. I was looking for most hyped. So
Yeah.
me off there. Most anticipated game. There has to be. I did find it funny. Out of all these are all great. And then, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. I'm like that. I was not expecting them to put that in there. You know, I would still think like
I'm wondering. Not that. Again, not that
against it.
The Yakuza games aren't. The wide range appeal is. I mean, I don't know. It's Yakuza's been growing infinite more popular in the past like 4 years than the previous like 15. So yeah, maybe.
They had a freaking Like a Dragon street fight last night in AEW, which was literally they did moves from Like a Drag from the series where you grab the guy grabbed a bike and did a spinning bike throw. I'm like, oh my god, that is literally from the game.
That's quite dumb.
Very, very stupidly awesome. I love it. But I think the big one was Game of the Year. People were talking about it. I will say one thing. There's no like best Nintendo game, best PlayStation game, like platform wise, like that kind of stuff has sort of disappeared and gone by the wayside the last few years. Now it really is
because what drives more what drives more engagement?
Yeah,
stupid fanboys arguing about the dumb shit. So that shit's gone. The last thing I want is it for it to be segmented so that we don't have weird nerds online arguing about it.
We are the weird nerds, my friend.
I Thank God I am not, because I could not give a shit.
Here are your games of the year. I don't mind me, by the way. I am taking a green Jello shot here. These are leftover shots from Halloween. Go ahead. What do you think about these nominees, my dude?
It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think Resident Evil 4 is. I mean, I know that it's like a full blood remake, but. Dog, it's the same. It's the same game. Like it's the same
story beats.
Like this is like when you got a really big mansion and you rip the drywall out and you're like, man, now this is a house. It's like, dog, it's the same house. You just redid it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, it's still a really nice house, but it was before too.
Yeah.
I just say, it's just the same house. That's all. So.
No, I agree. It's
I don't know what else. I don't know what else I would put there.
Well, I do know people were. I think my favorite was we posted in the Discord where some dude was like, some dude tweeted, they chose they put Mario Wonder in instead of Starfield. Like
Starfield's not on this list, dog. It's just not.
No,
if I pull Resident Evil 4 off, Starfield isn't one that goes in.
It's not the one that goes in. Trust me, there's another game that would go in there. I could name probably 15 that could go in there.
I can pick plenty of things. It ain't it.
Starfield's not a bad game. I actually haven't played it yet. Everybody that I talked to that's played it said it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly cromulent, to what JJ would say, but it's not Game of the Year material. At least in this case. In another year, it might very well have been as well. But this year is fucking insane. Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. I think like 8 years ago it would have been game of the year, because
where's Redfall? That's what
where's Redfall? Okay. All right. There's no need to kick them while they're down, buddy.
No, I'm just kidding. No, this shows a really good variety of games. I mean, I know which one I kind of like, which ones I like the most out of this, I should say. And there are, I have not played Spider-Man 2. I have not played Alan Wake 2. I've played Baldur's Gate. I've played Mario Wonder. I've played Legend of Zelda. And I've played the original Resident Evil 4. So I've got 2 more to play off of this list. But then I do also have to blast through enough of Starfield and Forza as sort of the bigger games. Not to mention, and this is the issue that I have with Game Awards. One thing you're not seeing on there is something that they threw in a whole different category, which is best independent game, because Dave the Diver is a phenomenal game. Dredge is a phenomenal game.
Yeah,
there are
I feel
Sea of Stars is a phenomenal game.
I feel like best indie game. You know, we'll get into the whole Dave the Diver thing. Dave the Diver isn't an indie game thing because I'm sure that Zach might murder us if we didn't. But the best indie game, it feels like, has largely like come to exist so that like it gets a nod, so that we don't have to argue about whether like Hades already kind of like, which is weird because Hades did win Game Awards Best Game.
Did it really?
2 years ago?
Was it a couple years? I thought it was maybe like 3 years ago.
Maybe whenever it did it, but, right? But like it had to overcome other things to be able to be in contention there, and just like, I don't know, like we're past that nonsense. I feel like there is why is there a best indies game and a best video game? They are both video games. We're literally talking.
Where is the best AAA game category? Right. I'm not going to say it, but it's like there should not be a delineation. A great game is a great game. You don't see. I don't know if there's like a best indie album in the Grammys, right? It's not like there's
where's best, is there a best self-published album?
Is there a best self-published album? I mean, so then you get to best indies, where is the best independent game? There you go, best independent game. And you have obviously Dave the Diver. You have, and granted, they also had Cocoon as best game debut. Well, listen, the dude worked on. He was like one of the co-founders of Limbo and Inside.
Yeah, I mean, like Annapurna didn't exactly not mention those things when they were doing PR for.
But these are solid. These are incredible, and all these are incredible games. I'm not going to say any of them are bad. I mean, you played Viewfinder and Sea of Stars and Dredge and Dave the Diver. I don't know if you played Cocoon yet, but. This is certainly the category of.
This is my category.
Dude, mine too. This is like
I
look
played
at this stuff. I'm like, I
literally
love
every single one of these games on the Steam Deck, for the record.
Nice. We're gonna get into that story in a little bit too. But it's the. I want us to get past. I think you do too. The idea of a best game and a best indie game. It's like no, just best game. Like an indie game can be best game, and there's no such. Game development, all the quality of these games right here is better than the quality of one of the games that I'm going to be reviewing, which is a AAA game. So you're going to essentially, from a AAA, a giant franchise, all of these beat that quality. So it's like you can't really separate. A game is a game. Hashtag.
That's really tough.
Game is a game.
And then we'll just mention it briefly. We won't harp on it.
That's Fortnite expansion of the year.
Which is the fact that Dave the Diver. They say Mint Rocket. Mint Rocket is a literal subdivision of Nexon Corporation, which is a multi-billion-dollar games company in South Korea. It's like if we put on a best indie game for one what's the subdivision in Square Enix for Yoshida's stuff, right? In Project Team, they said instead of saying Square Enix, they said Project Team 3 or whatever it's called. It's like kind of like doing that, except that maybe not as many Americans would recognize Nexon, although a lot of the younger generation of folks are getting increasingly more savvy about that kind of stuff. So
but by comparison, all right, Death Stranding kind of falls into this category.
I mean,
right?
Kind of. I mean, like Death Stranding just does like a really good job of pulling money out of a lot of weird places, right?
Literally.
At the end of the day, I mean, like, this is the thing about the reason why this conversation will always suck is the fact that like the idea of whether or not it is an indie or a AAA game is it feels like X. It feels like X game. But why? It just, it is, or it is. Like Baldur's Gate 3. Larian is basically a fully independent studio. They had incredible funding
Yeah.
that let them make the Baldur's Gate 3 the game they wanted to make.
Mhm.
But like, why isn't that indie? Well, I mean, look at it. It's not an indie game. It's a AAA game, right? Like that's the way that the conversation goes. And if that's the nature of the conversation, then it's a waste of everybody's freaking time.
It really is.
Why isn't Dave the Diver a AAA game? Well, I mean, look at it. It's not a AAA game. You know, you look at it, you play it, and you're like, oh, no, that's not a AAA game.
What about like Pentiment? Right, Pentiment came out, and that was
From
by
Obsidian.
of Obsidian, which
like one of the AAA
looks like
studios
a AAA.
that
That looks like a AAA game. It's got to be indie. Yeah.
You know,
stupid argument. I agree.
And on the other thing is that, like, when was the last time a non 3D game was considered primarily AAA? Like in the last 10 years.
I would say this one right here, Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Yeah, but that's a 3D game on.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, like even 2D games for the most part are actually largely 3D superimposed in specific ways. But yeah, I mean, if it wasn't, if like Super Mario Wonder wasn't made by Nintendo in some weird alternate universe, people would be like, it's not AAA.
Yeah, agreed. Yep.
But you know, then we just have these weird exemptions in our brain of like, oh well, Nintendo makes it. Okay, Nintendo made and published it. That's a AAA game. There's no question.
And Nintendo is a self-published company, so technically they're independent.
Also, Pokemon somehow are like Pokemon are like the worst AAA games ever made.
They are. They're the most AAA game because they're linked to 15 companies. You take that back. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to say you take that.
I hate it because I want to love it.
Yeah, that's the problem with Pokemon. That's the problem with this last Pokemon game.
The last few.
I would say Sword and Shield were fantastic. I love Sword and Shield. I was the first Pokemon game that I actually really blasted through and enjoyed everything. I have not completed a new Pokemon games. I haven't completed Arceus, although that's the one I want to play next because it's different enough. And I have not completed this latest one, which I've only put like 2 hours in. So, yeah, there you go. Categories, Game Awards. But there's other news. And that other news is that you mentioned you've been playing a game on your Steam Deck, but you're also going to be playing that same game on the Steam Deck OLED.
Steamed OLED.
Steamed LED. Valve has followed Nintendo once again.
Oh,
and
please.
Come up with a swollen. No. Valve is releasing an OLED version of the Steam Deck.
Yeah, we went from announcement to on sale, and I think under 2 weeks.
Yes, yeah. Nintendo did that too with the Switch OLED. And the only reason I bring that up is that both these companies are very good about hardware in terms of when hardware is ready, they will fucking announce it. They're not going to. I mean, the only thing we heard leaks about this thing because it was popping up in databases and people said there's going to be some Steam Deck related thing, but and then same thing with Nintendo with the Switch 2. None of that is coming from the actual companies. This is the correct upgrade. The natural next step for the Steam Deck is to go OLED.
And it happened fast.
Yeah, actually really fast. 2 years, right? Was it 2 years? Year and a half?
Yeah, because it was supposed to launch. Was it supposed to launch in December of 2020?
The Steam
Deck?
And
then it launched in spring of 2021? Or was it spring of 2022?
I think I want to say 20. Okay, was launched in February of 2022. So it was supposed to come out in December 2021. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, a little over a year and a half. There you go. Almost 2 years. But still, it is there you go, man. It is the next Steam Deck. Year and a half.
And then I got my deck in July of 2021.
Yeah. And you are noted as taking a long time to upgrade devices. So what's it going to be like in the time between, waiting for the Steam Deck OLED to show up? No, I'm just kidding. You ordered this bad boy, didn't you? Which one did you get, the terabyte or the 512?
I went for the 512.
Good.
Because I already had the 256. If I want to swap to a 1 terabyte down the road, I'm savvy enough to do so on my own for probably less than the $100 difference, and I would end up with an extra drive out of it.
And those SD cards are, by the way, are so cheap right now.
Yeah, SSDs are still plummeting. SD cards are cheap as hell. I can literally it's not like my SD card, which I have a 1 terabyte micro SD, that just moves over. There is no
legit
mangling that I have to do over there.
Nice.
So
it's nice.
But yeah, I don't know. For me, the main place I play video games is Steam Deck now.
Dude.
So it seems
you have gone. What's interesting, and I am eating crow about this, because when Nintendo first announced when the rumors first came out about the Switch being a handheld hybrid portable, I remember being on the podcast, I think with like Tom Johnson and Robin Miller and Sam and maybe somebody else, JJ or whoever, and I'm just like, it's just the worst fucking idea. It is. Why are we going backwards to portable devices? No one wants portable devices anymore. The only place I play video games right now is on my Switch and on my Steam Deck, and neither of them are docked. It's on the couch when I'm doing something else or I'm in a meeting. It's it has become the place to play for me.
Yeah,
I'm using the OLED on the Switch, by the way, and I'm telling you, Taylor, you're gonna drool, because an OLED screen is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, and I think Valve took it a step further because they have HDR. Which is a questionable implementation with video games, but I'm not going to complain about it.
Sure.
And there's a bunch of other updates. The panel is 90 hertz refresh, which is always a nice to have, even though it's going to eat battery life a little bit more than previously. Screen's 0.4 inches bigger, 10 more watt hours on the battery life, on the battery size. Charges faster. RAM is clocked faster, so there's a slight uptick in game performance because of the faster RAM. And the fan is quieter. It has better cooling overall, so the fan and also they changed the fan design, and it's quieter. So
it's what's interesting to me is Valve is finally admitting that battery life that they had on the current Steam Deck sucked balls. I
don't think they ever thought it was particularly good.
They never thought it was good, and so they didn't bring it up. Whenever somebody brought it up, they'd be like, I mean, it depends on the game, and
admittedly, you could get
if you're gonna be playing it plugged in, whatever
you could have gone like 5 to 8 hours on still can on the original Steam Deck.
Depending on the game. Baldur's Gate 3 is like 2 hours. Gotcha. Plug that shit in.
Baldur's Gate 3, 30 FPS. You're lucky if you make it 90 minutes.
That's exactly. You're right. You're right. I was being very generous with 2 hours. But no, it's true.
Yeah, I mean,
we know that with PC. We know that with PC. That's just,
I think that they probably wanted to try and do an OLED panel the first time around, but the price of storage was hurting them too much. You look at the fact that during this revision, they literally eliminated the eMMC option, the 64 gig, only SSDs, and they're only bigger.
Yep.
Like instead of 64, 256, 512, we're now 256, 512, 1 terabyte. The reason that's the case isn't because Valve is like, we want to do right by you guys. It's because the 64 gigs are probably as expensive, if not more expensive, than the 256 gig SSD now.
Sure.
And the other ones are cheaper. Now, you could say that maybe they could have just kept the old sizes, except that they probably couldn't find a 64 gig SSD. But like literally, that's how cheap stuff got. Plus, now that they had a proof of concept out there, probably more manufacturers, OLED panel manufacturers were like, okay, we'll do business with you now.
We got a bunch of these left over from Nintendo. Let's do some business.
Yeah, I mean, this is a little. They're not the same size, so it would be really funny if they were the same panel, though. They're not identical size.
Yeah. They can't be. There's no way they did.
Here I can.
I'm looking at it and everyone trying to quickly figure out the OLED technical specs.
I've got.
It is a 7 inches the screen. Yep. So original was 6.2. The OLED is 7. Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
Look at that. Look at that photo I just sent. If you want to throw that up there.
Look, let's share this. Share that. There you go.
The very
OLED,
very simple
LCD.
rendition.
Yeah.
So
like
this is just
the way to do it.
That's just the basic size comparison. So obviously the same 1200 by 800 resolution on the OLED. So basically, keeping the 800p.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's
But yeah. So yeah, I picked it up today. I'll pray to God that I find somebody to buy the old one. I think.
Oh yeah, you'll be able to sell it for like $100. You should be fine.
$100.
When is it? When is yours arriving?
I don't know. It says it's supposed to ship in 3 to 5 days.
Oh, that'd be good because then you could sell the sucker for Christmas, which is perfect timing, dude.
Yeah, when after traction picks back up.
Yeah. No, this it's great. I still think the next Steam Deck 2 will probably start with LCD. I think that's we get
the only
prices
difference
down.
might be that they sell it with an OLED model off the get go.
Could be like a very high end OLED model version. Potentially. I mean, again, it just depends on build quality. I think the sort of the jagged little steps are what game manufacturers, console and platform manufacturers like to do because they need to upsell you later. And so they know whoever owns the Steam Deck OLED or the regular Steam Deck will buy a Steam Deck 2, regardless of if it's OLED or LCD. So it's like, hey, later on, let's do the.
They don't have the built-in.
Look at that perfect Secret Santa gift.
Yeah, all right, $25 limit. Sorry, bud. They don't have the built-in need to haves that consoles do. So I think that's a tougher ask for them than with like let's say Nintendo.
Listen, you're buying a Steam Deck OLED.
I am, but I'm also like.
I mean, you are a PC guy. You know specs. You're into the hardware.
I'm a sample size of one, and like one of the most like unique. I feel like comparatively. So
I mean,
unless we hear otherwise from Valve, I mean, listen, they are going to know who double bought, right? Or at least they will know what Steam accounts double bought. And would I like to know what the numbers were on those stats? Absolutely.
I don't think they'll ever give those numbers out.
No, I don't think so either. But I want to know is my point. I don't think that there's going to be that. The percentage, I don't think is going to be that high. Like, what would you think would be a really good percentage of double dippers?
Of double dippers?
Yeah.
A really good percentage. I think for Valve, it's probably I'm gonna say like 15%.
I was gonna say 15% as well. I think
that's a solid number right there. It's a real solid number.
I think that if they hit like above 20%, it would be like, whoa, like that would be crazy.
I think also, I think what Valve is doing right now isn't selling to the double dippers. It's continuing it's trying to get the Steam Deck back onto the market because
because now that they're selling to the competitors of the ROG Ally, the Legion Go,
yes,
and the
PS5 is making waves for, even though it's a console, the PS5 is now selling like fucking hotcakes, and I'm not even going to consider that little stupid dinky little wireless thing they got.
PlayStation
Portal.
The PSP Go.
I own 18 versions of that game. No, but they have to compete. And you're right. How are they going to set themselves apart from the other new portables and kind of stay ahead? And then how are they going to compete against a console that's selling like a hotcakes? Well, you do need that upgrade. And I think it's good for them. They're going to continue selling, stay in the public domain, I guess, or public eyes. I'm still amazed that Valve is not selling this thing at Best Buy. I'm still amazed they don't have this sucker at Target, because that is, to me, that's sales galore. Because you're seeing the ROG at Best Buy, you're seeing the Logitech at Target, and in whatever.
It's the one thing that they
other,
don't have relationships with.
They don't.
Aside from,
I don't know if they want it. Do they want them? I don't know if they want them.
Maybe not. Things do get complicated.
Yeah.
You do lose some raw revenue. I don't feel like I feel like that wouldn't be their main reason for not doing it, because they make so much other money from so many other places.
Much other money
that I don't.
Hardware is the least of their issues.
I don't think it's exactly like the biggest thing on their mind. So I mean, they managed to bring Steam machines, a decade ago into Best Buys. I can't imagine why they wouldn't be able to bring these in. They have Steam gift cards in every store.
I was going to say the amount of Steam gift cards you would sell with a Steam Deck is nuts. Whenever somebody says I want to get into PC gaming, what PC should I get? It's like, get the Steam Deck. That's it. If you want to get the Steam Deck, then get a dock later. If you're really into it, get a dock. You can plug it into your TV or in a monitor, and then later on, if you really want to be hardcore, you can get an actual PC.
And the biggest issue that that we're going to run into with making that argument is that the next 2 years is going to be really rough for that tagline, because Baldur's Gate barely cuts the mustard on being playable on Steam Deck. There's still a few games that are just like not having it. Returnal is like, I hope 20 FPS. And granted, Returnal is a PS5 exclusive, but like that's my point, is that like, if we say I want to get into PC gaming, I was doing X, Y, or Z.
Mm-hmm.
If the only thing they're doing is playing a Switch, then yes, here's your PC gaming step. If they're coming from PS5, it's a little bit tougher.
It's a little bit tougher, sure.
because they are saying like, I want to play the Modern Warfare or whatever, and they're like, oh well, for Modern Warfare it's all right. So listen, it's a little tough, anti-cheat. We're gonna dual boot you into Windows, and their eyes have glazed over and they're already walking out the door. So it's one of those conversations that still requires qualifiers, which makes it really tough.
Price drop while supplies last. It's a sexy looking thing.
Well, I
like that clear plastic version.
I know. I thought about it, but it's like it was $50 more on top of everything else, and
it's the JJ version, is what that is. It's the JJ.
Yeah,
version.
That is the JJ version. I can't believe that he didn't buy it.
He saved his money. He's getting the Logitech one as the last.
The Logitech one.
Whatever the Logitech thing is, right? There's like 15 of them.
Lenovo.
The Lenovo. Sorry, I'm sure Logitech has one too. I'm sure of it.
Logitech made a cloud gaming one. Remember, it was that launched for 200. Right. That launched for $200.
That was at PAX. Remember that?
It launched for $200, and then it was like $50. I think like 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for it, and I'll have some period of time where I'll have both devices, so I can do a little demo and show what they look like side by side. And well, actually, one of the things I'm most excited about is the fact that the minimum brightness on the OLED screen goes all the way down to 2 nits.
That's nice.
Which sounds really silly, but like, as a person that plays Steam Deck in bed, being able to go down to 2 nits brightness is like,
dude, the OLED being as bright as it is on my Switch, I lit up the airplane on my flight to and back from Japan, and I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna turn this up all the way. I don't care if people are gonna think that the windows are open, but go for it. But no, it's cool. The Steam Deck,
sir, please.
Can
you please turn your flashlight on?
2 new platforms this year, not counting the Xbox 1 terabyte Series S. But we have. I think next year is going to be interesting because we're anticipating Xbox doing something, and then Nintendo obviously next year.
I mean, we're always waiting for whatever Xbox streaming device is going to eventually make it to market.
Yep. That big leak had the next, like, the half step Xbox Series S next year, right? So
great! Another device for developers to maintain parity on.
Yeah. Speaking of parody and great games, like we talked about, AAA, wonderful game. Let's get into some of the games we've been playing. I will say one thing. I promised some folks that I was going to do some magic tricks. But instead of doing I'm going to do a magic trick. I am going to do a magic trick. I was going to not do it, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it with you. So in meetings, I've had my office meetings, and I've been like researching magic and mind reading and mind control. And I have figured out a way to mind control people. I can get people to do things all right, beyond their control. I can do it to you too. All right. I can get you to do something without you even having control to do it. You ready? All right. First tell me an animal.
Penguin.
See, it worked. Okay, let's get into some of the games that we're playing. It's an ultimate dad joke magic trick right there. That goes as good as my numbers thing, because I am actually
it doesn't work when you're trying to tell it to a toddler, because trying to tell them to do something, they will just go no.
I told my daughter and my wife were standing next to each other, and I told that joke, and my daughter right away caught my level of humor and burst out laughing, and my poor wife was like, I don't get it, like overthought it. But she's not. She's good with numbers. I'm better with numbers. I'm phenomenal with numbers. Like phenomenal with numbers. I love math. You a math person? Yeah, thanks.
I actually do.
Yeah. All right. Let's see who's better at math. Okay. You're good at like adding and subtracting, and you're good at math. Okay. Give me 3 numbers of any length. I'll put my pen down. Give me 3 numbers of any length.
Okay.
I'll tell you how good at math I am. Just tell me those 3 numbers.
85.
And
92.
Okay.
1,342.
Okay. I know all those numbers. Told you. Let's go on to the games that we've been playing. The first game that I have been playing, I told you, AAA property, high quality, absolutely wonderful. It is Jumanji Wild Adventures. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard of Jumanji, haven't you? I have been playing this latest hot new game. There's no Jumanji movie this year, but there is a new Jumanji game.
This freaking game, man.
It is exactly what you think it is. By Outright Games. We got the code for PC. I've been playing it on my Steam Deck. Actually works fine on a Steam Deck. I don't think I'd want to play this on another platform. Please play it locally. I did not play it co-op. It is a licensed game. It is a licensed game. The sad part is not the sad part. The absolutely expected part is that the quality of a game as such is not good. There is nothing spectacular about this. This looks like they've picked assets out of a hat, and they've you saw that you kill one of those bugs and it just bounces back and poofs into dust. That's it. It's simple. You fight. That baboon fight right there is like the first battle. You fight a bunch of baboons, and then for no reason you fight like this tribe leader. And I'm like, all right, I get it. It is nonsensical. It is. I'm going to share this tab instead. Just a really kind of cockamamie story. There are technical issues. All of it, like the animation is not good at all. It's very, you can kind of see it there. It's very like stuttery, and this is on the Steam Deck, and it's not a taxing game on the system. The visual fidelity actually isn't bad. I was surprised that they were able to capture like the look and feel of the actual actors, the Jack Black and the Rock, Dwayne the Rock Johnson. But there's just nothing fun about this game. There is nothing it's just platforming levels, and the Rock has a boomerang, and the boomerang, you throw it, and I lost the boomerang somewhere and I couldn't find it, and I had no idea where I lost it. It's just this is the least spectacular adventure game action adventure game that I've ever played. That being said, it's not horrible. If you're trying to give your kids something, if they're big into Disney movies and big
Is
into
it
Jumanji. Give them
is
this.
it
I mean,
voice acted?
again, the voice acting is fantastic, actually. Okay, they try to get the voices to sound like the actors, and for the most part, they kind of do. The Jack Black actor is fantastic. Kevin Hart actor is fantastic. Voice actor. But so they actually did a really good job on that aspect. The story is they're sucked back into the world of Jumanji. They know it's a video game that they're sucked into. It's just unfortunate that this video game is very,
It just
very
looks like
bad.
it was made for the Mega Touch, and I would go play it in a bar.
It has that feel, I guess. Yeah, you're right. It definitely has a mobile game feel, and
Yeah.
I hate using that as like some sort of
Damn, they put
bad
this thing on
qualifier.
PS5. Did they make an
It's not
actual
everything.
boxed game
Yeah, it's
for
a box game.
PS5?
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's Wild Adventures, actually. They uh, there's there it is like I mentioned, it's the least. It is an unspectacular action adventure game. I mean, there's to walk around to get around the overworld, the map. You're using you use your Jeep, and you drive the Jeep, and it's like why drive the Jeep? Just walk. Just give me a map. Just give me dots on a map. That'll work fine for me. But you can find the letters Jumanji, let's spell Jumanji in each level, and that opens up something. But yeah, there's just hit detections off. Every graphical thing is repetitive. Like you saw the flames in that one thing. Every flame is the same. Every wooden board is the same. Every enemy is exactly the same. Every leaf is the same. Every stone in the water there is the same. It's like it's very much grab the assets, throw them. Look at this. I'm gonna pause it right there. Look, same. These are all the same pieces. There are like it. There are so many aspects of this. You're like, wow, they literally. I don't want to say they phoned it in because I never say a developer phones it in, but
I don't think
at the
they phoned
same
it in.
time,
I just think that they had like shoestring to do it.
that's exactly what I was gonna say. I think they had like a shoestring budget, and they were like, hey, let's get this. We got the IP. We got the license to make a game. Just make
We got to make something.
We got to make something. Make a basic adventure game, and they did. And again, beetles, uninteresting enemies. Baboons, uninteresting enemies. Typical fire streaming things, uninteresting obstacles, and it's just, I wouldn't recommend it for any reason. I guess again, if you have a child that is really into this is aimed at kids, so granted, I'll give you that. However, it's not super easy to control from again I mentioned it's got some issues with stuttering, issues with hit detection. So it's not great from that standpoint. If you're gonna make it for kids, go all out, make it for kids. I think they're trying to it feels like this game is aimed at like the 9-year-olds, the 8, 9-year-olds, 10-year-old kids who aren't ready for Tomb Raider and Uncharted, and but want that sort of action adventure experience. And you can still provide that by making it at least a quality experience. And the quality of this is just like I said, it's just the quality levels are meh at best. Meh is not a grade you can give anybody, but and the enjoyment of this is really boring. It's just a boring game. It really is. There's nothing from the movies that is in this in the levels. It really is just like random. It's like it's jungle level. Okay, what is there about this temple that reminds me from the movies? Nothing. They don't link it to anything. So, yeah. Jumanji Wild Adventures, Jumanji Sleepy Time Adventures. There's another game I've been playing. Another massive IP from our childhood. And that game would be a game that just came to Switch from other platforms. We actually played this game a year ago.
Okay.
You ready? Ready for it? It's a multiplayer game 4v1 Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed.
Oh, yeah.
This works surprisingly well on the Switch. I am very surprised at how effective I don't know who ported this for Ilphonic, but
I gotta wonder when they were doing the main dev if kind of Switch was in their stretch,
maybe, yeah.
and they not that they. I don't think they did the port, but I would imagine they did some asset management that made it
Yeah,
easier
yeah.
to
Well, I
accomplish.
think art style. They just definitely chose an art
Yeah,
style that is easy to work through, and I think
that
that's
too.
great. I think for Ghostbusters for this license, that's perfect. You don't need to make it ultra realistic. Like characters look great. The voice acting is fantastic. They use a lot of like the actual actors from the movie series. The gameplay works. I played multiplayer finally because I have over 100 friends on my Switch, and the bug that they have in the system doesn't allow you to have 100 people and be able to play the game.
No,
I could not log in because of that
no.
issue. And you see that over and over again with developers when they port stuff over to Switch, and it's like, oh man, they forgot about like the simple thing, which is you got to allow people to have over 100 friends. You may not think Nintendo players play online, but guess what? They do. Um, so they supposedly finally issued that release, but I didn't play on my main account. I had to play on my daughter's account because that was the only. She has one friend, me, and that was the only person that could do it. And so, because I can play on my own, but again, it includes all the DLC. um, it includes,
Are they
all the
releasing
maps,
an
all the
Ecto
characters.
edition on the other?
Yes, it is,
Yeah,
and they're like I think it's like a free upgrade for everything if you already got the game. Um, it's super competent. It works really well on the Switch. I never had any online issues, and that was surprising to me. I started with the game offline at first, and just to make sure, kind of get a comparison between offline, which you're playing with a lot of like bots and stuff. Obviously, offline you get your teammates, and then if you play as the ghost, you're playing against the AI bots, whatever. Um, then switch to online, and I didn't notice like stuttering. I didn't notice the typical online issues that you would normally with a Switch game. Granted, I don't think this is a game that's like super taxing. You're only ever with like 5 people total online. Like it's 4v1. So I don't think it's gonna hurt the network all that much, anyways. But it was really smooth. Visuals, even playing online, visuals are really we're like exactly fine. It's not saying much, but you can see the visuals here. I mean, the fidelity level of this. Yeah, there's some stuff like draw distance was a little bit off on the Switch, but I'm not looking far into the background. I'm trying to capture ghosts or scare the humans. But and it was great to play this thing portably for a change. It's you have to play. I guess crossplay is coming. I didn't play crossplay yet, and you're going to need your Epic account to do that because I think all of us played with our Epic Game Store accounts. We played on PC, but I just played regular multiplayer and it worked. And everything's there from the original game, and everything works. And voice acting is great, visuals are great, and it's a super competent multiplayer and single player experience. And if you like Ghostbusters, surprisingly, the best Ghostbuster game that's been out in a long time.
crazy.
And it works. It works on the Switch, and it's the Ecto edition, so it's been upgraded on all the platforms. Definitely check it out. I love me some Ghostbusters. I love when it's done right, and the story within the game is obviously kind of hokey as usual. It's
It's
Ghostbusters. It's
Ghostbusters.
not serious, but yeah, I'd like copy paste everything we said about Ghostbusters in the past, slide it in here. Yeah, if you got a Switch and you're a fan of multiplayer games and you've been waiting for a multiplayer game that actually works on the Switch besides Splatoon, which had its issues, this is going to work. This is going to work.
Did they put Dead by Daylight on Switch? I'm assuming they did.
Yeah, I think they did. I did not play that though, but
This is but this is for the
Same.
Dead by Daylight crowd.
Yeah, yep. Totally. So yeah, good job. And yeah, I'm totally surprised at how well it worked out. Because again, we've known issues with multiplayer importing PC games to the Switch and stuff. So and this works great. Ghostbusters Unleashed. What are you playing, dude? Anything new since last week, or just still diving into some of the same stuff?
Yeah, I mean, mostly trying to plunk
Plink, plunk, plink, plunked it.
away at Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
But it's tough because it's the kind of thing that I want to sit down and play for a while.
Yeah.
And
Could you see yourself playing portably on this thing, like Alan Wake 2, like for long periods of time
what, on Steam Deck?
on Steam Deck?
Oh, I could. I mean, like, and I have, like,
Yeah.
if you look at, like, I would play, like, for instance, like Persona 5, right?
Sure.
What I would consider kind of like a bigger thing.
But I think like their atmosphere wise, a small
atmosphere wise,
screen versus a big screen.
I'll
type of thing.
I'll throw the nice headphones on, and I would
Yeah.
do it and like sit in the corner on
Oh,
my
cool.
on my comfy couch
Okay.
in a
All right.
heartbeat.
Nice.
The issue
Nice.
is that it can't do it on Steam Deck
Sure.
for
Yeah.
for Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
But go back and emulate, like something like Silent Hill
Sure.
or anything like that. And yeah, I think one of the reasons why I actually beat Sea of Stars, for instance, is because, and not that it's like the big atmospheric game, but it was just a very cozy experience. Like, I don't know, you feel
Totally.
really close to it when you're on the handheld and the small
Dude,
screen.
I freaking love that about the handheld, which is the experience that I
don't feel like it detracts. I mean, yes, in a lot of things,
so much stuff.
In a lot of things, I want the bigger screen, of course.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Spider-Man, I want a bigger screen. Zelda, I want a bigger screen. That kind of
the faster it is, the more screen I want.
Racing games, yeah, for sure.
Alan Wake isn't really that fast. It's I mean, there's gunplay and there's action to that game, but a lot of it is move at your own pace and look at things. If it had the horsepower to run it and look good, I would play it. Yeah, no question.
Okay.
But I can't.
Yeah.
So, because it looks really, really good with a nice graphics card, because it has some phenomenal lighting technology on it.
Nice.
I mentioned this the last time I was on the show about the kind of what the medium preset is of this game, and I mentioned the Digital Foundry video and all that jazz. So I'm not going to rehash it. But yeah, that still holds true. All of it's still there. I'm getting into a little bit more of the the meat of the center of the game. It's doing things that I'm happy with. So I have no complaints. It's doing, if it's not necessarily Alan Wake 1 things, it's you could say it's doing Alan Wake 2 things, which I'm fine with. Remedy's kind of progression of the games that they make is very, very interesting to me. And I loved the shit out of Control. So it's like, what if we Alan Wakefied Control? That works for me. But other than that, because I've had so little time, I've been playing a little idle game. It's called Melvor Idle.
Ooh, okay.
Zach would start saying something. Cue Zach, where are you, buddy? So Melvor Idle is basically RuneScape, except it's an idle game.
Ooh.
So, if I'm not mistaken, and this is the reason why I want Zach here, like, I think that even the skill progression, XP numbers, all that stuff is identical. Like, how long it takes to do an action is the same. The amount of XP it takes to level up all the way through 0 to 99, the same. So, like, everything is identical. The only difference is that I don't have to click anything. I mean, aside from like to change what I'm doing, and everything just continues in the background. So it's just kind of like a sim.
I'm looking for this game. It's like idle RuneScape is as fun as real RuneScape. It's like the stuff that I'm finding.
Yeah, pretty much.
Released a new patch, and
there's got a new update and an expansion.
Nice.
So is
it on Steam?
It's on Steam. Nice. It's on iOS.
Downloading. Oh, perfect. Melvor Idle.
Melvor Idle. I think it's technically owned and run by Jagex now. Jagex being the company that does RuneScape.
Okay.
It's very easy to lose time to, but it's not, it's not to be confused with a clicker idle game.
Uh-huh.
So, a la cookie clicker and stuff like that. Clicker idle games require a significantly higher percentage of your attention to continue. And like Melvor is like, do you want to fish for 4 days? Check in once every 24 hours and make sure that you're clicking, so that you're progressing to a higher difficulty thing. And then you're, eventually it's like, it's going to take you 2 months to hit level 99 on any skill. That's just how it is. It's just the nature of the beast. So it's awesome. That occupies my time when I know that I could, don't have 40 minutes to sit down and play Alan Wake.
Love this. Sweet, dude. I might have to
cloud save so that you can swap between desktop and mobile and all that good stuff. So
it's so cool because even on their website it shows your cloud saves, save slots. It shows all the stuff. Buy the full game, buy the demo, sign in. How cool. Throne of the Herald and Atlas of Discovery are the two.
That's correct.
Nice. Very cool. Awesome, dude. Well, you ready for some fattening up next week?
I am very much. I'll be extra ready if my Steam Deck OLED comes in.
Nice. I think we're going to try to do our next episode probably on Sunday, so we can get Jage in there because he's got a couple of review things, and he had to switch to evenings, which is why he couldn't be on the show today. So we figured we knock one out on Thursday for just.
He wanted. He was tired of coming. Yeah, he didn't. Yeah. He swapped work. Literally swapped work so they could avoid us.
But he won't avoid us at PAX East. PAX East tickets are now on sale. And
March
21st to 24th. Let me see how tickets are going right now because people are freaking. Look at panel applications, media registration. Let's go. I actually think they're going to sell out this year because they sold out last year, like the week of PAX East for a couple. Like the 4-day badge went. I don't know if it went first or not. I know usually Friday and Saturday go right away, and then I think Thursday went after that, and Sunday didn't sell out. But I think they may have a chance to sell out this year. People are excited. This is the 20th anniversary year of PAX East, of PAX in general.
Oh, okay.
And I think this is like it's like the 11th anniversary. No, PAX started in
first PAX was 2008, I believe.
PAX East was 2008 or 09? 8?
It was 8 or 09. I don't remember which one.
One of the two. Yeah, so it's we are headed to PAX. We're gonna sign up for panels. Hopefully we get our panels going. It'll be the Perfect 7 panel. We got to think of a cool name for it. JJ and I had a name and then we forgot it. So I got to hunt through. Hunt through our Discord to figure out what name it is. But you'll see us at PAX. You'll see a bunch of us at PAX. I think we're bringing some of the heavy hitters out of retirement for PAX, so that could be kind of fun.
Don't whip them up in a frenzy, Dally.
Don't whip them up in a frenzy, but it'll be a good time. We will see you all there. Until then, you can catch us on the next episode of the SideQuest right here on SideQuesting.com on YouTube and Twitch. SideQuesting TV at both of those, in the Discord, which is where things will be. And then we have some holiday fun coming up. More than just a Secret Santa. So stick tuned. You'll be hearing about some fun event stuff happening over the next several weeks here as we roll into the holidays. Till all that stuff, you can find me and Taylor, like I said, in the Discord. Thank you, Taylor, so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
I didn't even ask you to sing, even though your vocal cords are probably all worn out from all the singing.
Yeah, sorry. That's my daughter's ears only.
We'll have to get your set list for karaoke.
It's a set list. It's a set list of 3.
Nice. Mary had a little lamb. Happy birthday, and I want to fuck you like an animal. Which is a really weird song to sing to a child. 9 Inch Nails, come on, dude. I'm just kidding. We'll
Veggies
see
from
you in the
Young
next
Deli.
episode of the SideQuest. We love you all. Take care. Goodbye.